Hi, and welcome back to Wisdom from the Angels. Hi, my name is Carolyn, and I want to welcome you back. Um, I hope everyone is safe, healthy, and feeling a little hopeful, a little bit more hopeful than we might have been feeling in past days. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so that you'll get email notifications of videos when I upload them, and I upload all the time. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. I so appreciate each and every one of you. And in light of yesterday's events here in the United States, I was called to do this reading. I was woken up. Actually, it's 3 o'clock in California where I live, and so my lighting is very much off because I'm usually very well lit. But my lighting's very much off, and the my light pole decided that it was going to become a strobe light, and I didn't think any of us would appreciate that. So I decided to just come on and do the best I could. It was more important to me to get a message out to you. So what I'd like for you all to do is, if you need to know anything about me, it's all in the box below. And please feel free to reach out. I do offer 15-minute free chats. So please go ahead and, send me an email, and let's see how we can sync up, and perhaps I can give you some guidance or some advice. Or if you're looking for a practitioner, I can lead you in the right direction. I do other services besides angel card readings. I am also an energy intuitive. And when I'm doing readings, as well as when I am doing one-on-one remote distance healings, I'm also channeling from spirit. So I also am a psychic medium, and different things come through at different times. Okay, if this message does not resonate with you today, perhaps it will at another time. But today I was called, actually it was woken up about a half hour ago, and I heard get on YouTube and do your video for Thursday. Do something around peace. So I jumped up and I pulled out my oracle, the Peace Oracle by Tony Salerno. In light of what happened in the United States yesterday, I think that this is a great time for us to really start to look at things from a different perspective, one of peace, one of unifying this country, one of unifying our communities, one of unifying us in the world. We are a global society. Even though we may have borders, we are still part of a bigger picture. And I think it's important for us to all remember that, and to remember that we are not alone, and we do have support, even in times where it looks like things are very dire. I also urge each of you to use your own mind, your own intuition, and really allow it to guide you versus social media, versus even the media. Until the 1980s, we did not have 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 or 366 days a year of news, until Ted Turner came along with CNN. And if you look at news long enough, if you look at that channel long enough, you begin to realize that it's on a loop. And so you're seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And that is not always healthy. And if we continue the way that we saw things go yesterday, we're going to be in some really dark, dark times here in this country. And protests can be very peaceful. However, yesterday's was not. So I think that there is a call for peace. I think there is a call for unity, and we must elevate ourselves now to a different perspective. That doesn't mean you don't stand up for yourself, That doesn't mean that you don't take ownership of your actions. What it means is that you come from a place of responsibility. You come from a place of being real clear what your intention is. Okay? So I'm not going to lecture. As many of you know, I'm a parent and a grandmom. And yeah, I could lecture for quite a while. However, we're going to go ahead and get into this reading. I do sincerely want all of us to keep in mind, all is not lost. A lot of this is growing pains. Remember, America is a very young country in comparison to Europe, in comparison to Africa. We're very young, and we're like a young adult. We're still kind of finding our footing, even after all of these years. But I urge people to really be cognizant of what they allow into their space, who they allow into their space, what energies they attach to. All right? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and get into the reading for today. So let me start by grounding myself, because yesterday was a very unsettling day for me. All right, so let's clear the energy. For about the last week or so, whenever I've been clearing the energy, especially around the readings here on YouTube and with clients, I've been hearing a phrase that I learned as a child: let there be peace and let it begin with me. Each one of us has a responsibility to ourselves, to our communities, to our families, and to this planet. Responding in peace can bring about unity very quickly. And so let's start to look at ways we can do that within our communities, okay? Before I get into the reading, let's call in the angels. We do this by using the heart link from Integrative Energy Therapy, or by placing our hands on our heart. And today I'm going to be using the heart link, as well as my my chakra, my rose quartz crystal, which is associated with the heart chakra. And I want everyone to really start to look at peaceful ways that you can be involved within your community, within your family, within your homes, and with yourself. Okay? All right, so here we go. Angels, archangels, spirit guides, ascended masters, ancestors. Come into this reading, come into this space, surround us, guide us, and bring about the wisdom that is needed at this time. Fear must be put out. Let hope rise. Angels, bring in more peace. So we're going to call in Archangel Raphael to help us heal the traumas and the divide in this country. Archangel Raphael, come into this reading. You are the great physician. You are the great healer. Bring in all of your emerald green light to heal our country, heal our communities, and heal the world. Archangel Michael, come in and provide protection, security, and give us guidance as to how we can move forward and let our voices be heard. Archangel Gabriel, come in and show us the wisdom, bring us the guidance, give us insight as to how we can be more effective. Archangel Chamuel and Cassiel, come in and bring in more unconditional love on this planet. Let's get a handle on division. Let's really look within ourselves to see where we may be divided. Archangel Sarah, the great manifester, bring in all the energy to manifest peaceful change as we go about this year of 2021. Angel Daniel, come in and help us with our grief. Come in and help us to understand that loss is just one step toward rebirth. Angel Zachiel, come in and help us with forgiveness. Help us to see that there is another way in the world. Angels, we are so grateful for all you do. We are so grateful for everything you bring to our world. Benevolent beings from all spaces, places, and time, from all galaxies and universes, come into this reading and provide for us exactly the guidance that we do need here on this planet so that we may move forward in a peaceful way. Angels, we thank you for all that you do, all of our blessings. We are so grateful and thankful. Please bring about a healing and peace for the highest good and highest healing of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, angels. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this reading. We're going to be using, as I said before, the Peace Oracle by Tony Carmine Solano. Okay? And I'm going to read from the book at some point because there are affirmations there, and the affirmations might help us on our peace journey. I'm also going to be pulling from the Wisdom Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Many of you have seen this one before. And my old favorite, Angel Answers. I want to get some answers in here from the angels as to how we can best be supported. Okay? Alrighty. So let's get into this reading. I'm being a little quieter today. It is, like I said, about 3:30 here on the West Coast. My neighbors are still sleeping, and I don't want to startle them. So I'm a little subdued, that's why. Yesterday I had a bad headache, and I didn't know what it was from. I thought allergies. And the minute something said turn on TV, and my TV in my home doesn't usually go on until at 7 p.m. at night. And this was in the afternoon, and I thought, why in the world would I do that? And Spirit kept saying, turn on the TV. And as I turned it on and saw what was going on in Washington, D.C., our capital for this country, I was stunned. One of the reasons is I used to live in D.C., I used to live at the Museum Complex, which is Pennsylvania Avenue. So to see those pictures, which is less than 10 blocks to the Capitol, and to see those pictures, it was just devastating. I felt for the lawmakers. I even felt for the protesters, because I felt for them from the standpoint that they bought the rhetoric of the time. This will be an interesting period in our history when we look back on it. It is interesting living it. It is also very concerning that so many people, I don't know, I keep hearing the phrase drank the Kool-Aid. And that's unfortunate, because our democracy depends on a peaceful exchange of power, and you can have your voice heard without all of what happened yesterday. Yeah, it was quite concerning. I was also concerned for friends who still work on the Hill and really worried about their safety. I was worried about the lawmakers and their safety. You know, it reminded me of 9/11, where people were just like, what in the world? I mean, this is a big complex we're talking about. This is not just, you know, a couple of buildings. And it was very disconcerting. A neighbor had texted me and said, "Are you watching what's going on at the White House?" And I said, what is going on? What? I basically said, "What now?" And I said, when I tuned in, I saw it wasn't the White House, that it was the Capitol complex. Normally, that complex, you cannot get in there. Oh my goodness, you can't get in there. And where the police were yesterday is very interesting, and I'm sure we'll get more news on that. But Capitol Police have some answers. There's a lot of people who have to. And maybe we have to have this breakdown in this country for people to see just exactly where we are weak, so that we can start to bring strength to those areas. A lot of work still to be done. A lot of work still to be done, but I have faith and I do trust. I do believe that the universe is working on our behalf, even though it may not feel like that right now or look like that right now. But in one of the meditations that I do for the new and full moon, a couple of months ago, I had said this was going to be an interesting time leading up to and around the inauguration and with the start of this new administration. And I am hopeful. I am pleased that lawmakers finally spoke up. Unfortunately, it took this to get them there, but maybe fortunately it took this to get them there. All right? Okay. So, one thing to note on this channel, if you're never sure which angels to call on, we say, get the flock in here. So when you're calling on the angels and you are wanting to have a conversation, you can do the heart link, which is the middle finger and the thumb put together. And it starts an energetic vibration down the arm and to the heart, through the throat, third eye, the crown chakra, and the soul star chakra. And it sends that energy right on up into the angelic realm. And if you're ever really wanting to know, well, what angel do I need to call in? And you don't have to Google it. Just say, get the flock in here. Angels, get the flock in here. And they will show up and they will help you. But here's the deal. It's a couple of things. You must call on them. They will never overrule your free will. You must give them permission to act in your life and get out of the way and see how it shows up. Also, in co-creating your reality, your world, you must take action. You can't sit down and go, well, I told the angels what I wanted. Now I'm going to go file my nails. Or I'm going to go, play video games. And no, nothing wrong with either one of those. And the angels got this. I don't have to do anything. No, you must take action. You must take action. Because that's how we co-create our reality. Okay? All right. So let's get into the read. First card that comes out is Abundance. It's a beautiful card. And it is showing us nature. That is one of the places we can look to for abundance. And we can look toward nature to show us and remind us that we live in an abundant planet. We live on an abundant planet. And the abundance here is very much available for each and every one of us. But the thing is you have to look up. You have to get outside. You have to go and really participate with nature. And the message that comes with this is, I'm trying to get the lighting right. There it is, abundance. The universe is limitless. There is more than enough. The earth is forever. There is more than enough. My heart is endless. There is more than enough. My mind is boundless. There is more than enough. Ideas, solutions, opportunities, creativity, love, kindness, compassion, and peace abound. There is more than enough. There is more than enough. Oftentimes we get caught in a stuck mentality where we start to believe that not only do we not have enough, but that everyone else is doing so much better than we are. And that's not true. Everyone on this planet has availability to the abundance of nature. Everyone on this planet has the ability to really get out there and make a difference in their world. And you can make a difference in so many ways. And you don't have to be the leadership. Teachers are important. All jobs are important. Parents are important. Just showing someone how to learn a skill is important. It's important when you smile at someone. Now, granted, we have on masks, but when you smile at someone, it shows up in your eyes. Our eyes are not covered. So everyone needs to start taking personal responsibility for how they're showing up in the world. And we cannot rest on our laurels and say, oh, tomorrow I'll do it. That doesn't mean we don't have down days. When you go out in public, try to make sure that when you're going out that door, that you are stepping out with a brand new attitude. Because that's what this time is calling us to do. To show up, to be ourselves, but to have a different attitude about it. Because that's what's needed right now, and especially as we are in the 5-dimensional vibration. We can't show up how we did last year, the year before. It's not going to work. This is not going to work. And we saw that yesterday on Capitol Hill. That is not going to work. When you hear lawmakers say, enough is enough, couldn't have said it better myself. The next card that's coming out is acceptance. All right? And you see this beautiful woman with all of this bounty around her. And she is really showing us how we can be strong, we can be empowered, and accept it is what it is. Now, how do we move forward and make it better? And the affirmation on this one is, I like myself. I am free to be who I am. Life is a miracle, and it is. We may take it for granted, but life is a miracle. And I am a part of that miracle. It is a joy to be alive. My happiness brings happiness to the people around me. Self-love is contagious. I spread love wherever I go. Think about that. Think about that. Imagine going out one day and you are just in a good mood and you share that with others by your attitude. Imagine the difference that could make for someone who isn't having such a great day. Let's all start to take better care of ourselves, how we're showing up, and start to send that message out to our neighbors, to our community. We must change. We must change. And that's what 2021 is all about. Remember, we talked about the numerology of 2021. When you take the numbers, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. 5 is all about change, and change is inevitable. Change will happen whether you are standing there defying the universe that it's not going to happen. It will happen. It'll happen around you. Why not be part of the change so that you have a voice in the change and that voice is one of peace? All right? The next card that comes out is Encounter. And if we look at this card, it looks like a lot of birds are here, a lot of butterflies are here. This is really about getting involved and nature. And it is showing us that the creation that is around us on this beautiful planet, and we live on a really beautiful planet. And if you look around you, look for beauty. Stop looking at what's wrong. Look for beauty. And then look at, how can I take what I see that does not feel good to me or what I don't find beautiful and make it better? What encounters can I have where I can improve? How do I want to show up when I have an encounter with someone? Wow. So the affirmation on this card is is from Plato, and it says, nothing is beautiful without struggle. So even as seeds are planted, they do struggle to grow. The seed was planted yesterday that we in this country need to grow in a different, more unified and peaceful way. The affirmation is, I step into the darkness and I turn on the light. I open the world and I read it. In every new situation, I find some sure footing. In every new circle, I find a clear voice. Peace expands and grows through all I encounter. Important, very important for us. Remember, when the butterfly is coming out of the cocoon, it is struggling to grow. And as it grows, it becomes more beautiful each and every moment. How do you want to become more beautiful in your life? And we're not just talking about an outside beauty. We're talking about inside. What is coming out? Without struggle, we never learn how to fly. Without struggle, we never ever grow. Without struggle, we never ever get to a place where we can make a decision about how it is we wish to show up. Now is the time for you to go within. Take this weekend, because we're coming up on a weekend. Take this weekend and start to look at, how do I wish to show up in the world? How do I wish to be? Start with that question. Start with working on yourself. Use gifts you've never used before. Start to get really curious in your life. Remember the high vibe reading the other day. Curiosity. Let's put it on. Let's start to wear it. How can I make this better? How can I do this better? These are questions you can ask yourself. What value do I see in all that is around me? What are my values? What are my personal values? Start to ask those questions and see what starts to unfold. And the card that came out in the other card that comes out is Serendipity. We're living in a time where things are going to really start to show up in a very synchronistic kind of way. We're going to see many more events that really are going to highlight where we need to really come together. And that's what's called for. The number on this card is 18. When we in numerology take the number 1 and 8, we get 9. 9 is a sign of completion. That is the number of completion. The next card that comes out is Imagine. Imagine. This is card number 20. The number 2 is all about connecting. Imagine a world where we could all connect and come together. Just imagine it. I'm not saying that you have to give up anything, but just imagine it. Take a moment and get curious and start to imagine what it would be like to live in a world where we could have peaceful discourse, where we could have peaceful conversations, where we could have those difficult conversations that need to be had with respect, maintaining integrity, and still be at peace. And we may walk away saying, hey, let's agree to disagree and keep it moving. Doesn't always have to be a bam, let's have a fight kind of situation. And that doesn't mean that you can't have a peaceful fight, a peaceful way of handling things. The next card that comes out is poised. We are poised in on this planet to really see global change come about. We really are poised. And maybe this is part of and I kept thinking yesterday that part of what was going on was part of the breakdown so we can have a breakthrough. Because we need, as a country, in our communities, in our family, let's back it up, within ourselves, there needs to be a mending. Within our communities, within our families, within our country, on the globe, we need to mend. If you didn't learn that last year, as we were all sitting there in lockdown, trying to figure out, hey, what the hell is going on? It was a time of coming together. It was a time of really getting clear about who you are. It was a time about getting clear about how do we proceed on this planet. Are we ready to throw in the towel? Or are we ready for some being from another planet or galaxy to come along and go, experiment failed, let's implode them? Or are we going to start taking responsibility and ownership so that we can show up in our world a lot differently? The answer that comes up in the cards is yes, we can do this. We can also call upon the angelic realm for support in doing this. And one of the first things we as human beings can do is improve our health. That's what this card is. Start with your own health. How can you clean up yourself? How can you become more peaceful within? How can you have that calm, that unexplainable calm within yourself? Even in the midst of chaos, you can be calm. And one of the things is we have to take action. I can't get that. There we go. We must take action. We must take action in our own lives to bring about the peace, the calm, and the resolution that we truly deserve on this planet. Because when we do, here's the last card. It says big happy changes. We can have big happy changes. We can move forward. And we really can, start to see ourselves in a different light. We can start to see ourselves and have respect for each other, have integrity, show up in the world where we are showing up in a way that is very different than we have shown up before. I can give you an example in my own life. We have people, I live in a community where we have people moving in and out all the time. And partly because this is California, some people are a little bit more flexible in moving around. And partly because it's over 55 communities, so people are transitioning in many different ways. And a neighbor came to me because we have a couple of new neighbors and was pointing out who I should be friends and who I shouldn't be friends with. And I stood there for a moment and I said, okay, Mom. And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're sounding like my mother. You're sounding like you would have been my mother, although my mother would not have said that. I said, but you're not my mom. You don't get to tell me who I can be friends with and who I can't be friends with. And simply because you don't like someone or understand someone does not mean that they have any less value. And who are you to say who has value? And so I think that this is a conversation you might need to have with someone else, but it's not a conversation that you bring to me. And she said, I kind of was testing you to see how you'd respond. She said, and I was testing you to see would you blow up with me or not. I said, oh no. No, no, no. It takes a lot for me to blow up. When I do, it's not pretty. But one thing I'm not going to do is step out of my zone because someone else has their own insecurities. I, I beg of all of you to please look at the world from a place of abundance. Look at how you are contributing to this and start to look at what you can and cannot accept in your world. And try to make each encounter that you have peaceful. All right? Because that means a lot. You don't know who's watching. Children are watching. And it could be your children. It could be someone else's child. In order for us to get to a place of peace, we must watch how we're showing up in the world. So I'm going to end the reading here because the angels are telling us there are big happy changes on the way. But we must take some action, take responsibility, beginning by improving our own health. And yes, it will all work out. And it will work out. It's just a matter of how do we perceive it and what actions do we take? How do we show up? So ask yourself, how do I wish to show up in my own world? How do I wish to show up for myself? How do I wish to show up for my family? How do I wish to show up for my community? And then start to think about when we come out of settle in place, when COVID is fading, and when we get to a place where we can start to intermingle again, and social distancing is not necessarily a part of the construct. How are we, or even if it is, how are we going to start to mesh? How are we going to unify? How are we going to come together? It's important, it is necessary, and whether you like it or not, it is going to happen. Change is inevitable. Let's get on the bandwagon and be the leaders for peaceful change. All right, that's my message for today. Come on back again for the weekend read tomorrow, and may you know peace beyond all understanding. Thank you for tuning in. This is Carolyn from Wisdom from the Angels. Thank you and namaste.